We got a huge weekend here before the FOMC meeting next week that's happening on October 29th. Now, usually before FOMC meetings, I don't usually see price action going too crazy, okay? Because I think the market is just anticipating what's happening in that meeting. But what I'm seeing here for the FOMC meeting that's coming up and the previous one, we have a lot more certainty going into these two meetings because if we actually take a look into the CME watch tool here, right, we're still looking at about a 98% chance of a Fed rate cut, okay, which is one of my key arguments on why I think this bull cycle is still very much alive, despite all the boring and even downside price action we've been seeing in the altcoins. We're going to be talking more about that in just a second. We're going to be taking a look into some charts as well, which includes the Bitcoin chart, which is very important to be paying attention to since it is the driver of this crypto market. If it pumps, then the altcoins will have a lot more room to pump. However, if Bitcoin starts dumping from here, which there is still a risk of, since it just broke down from this rising wedge pattern, then that is still going to be very bad for a lot of these altcoins. Now, I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here, so my opinions on these markets, on crypto as a whole, is bullish. However, these are just my opinions and not financial advice. Like the entirety of this video, and you should find your own opinions and strategies. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to be taking a look into a few things in this video. Okay, we're going to be taking a look into major cryptos and economics news, as well as we're going to be responding to a few viewer comments. I do this every Wednesday and Saturday here, and today will be no different. We're also going to be taking a look into a few altcoin setups, which will include Toshi, the meme coin. We're also going to be taking a look into Giggle Fund, which is a newer coin. And we're also going to be taking a look into ApeCoin and see what's happening in these markets. What are their trading setups, price targets, and what they could potentially be doing next. So we're going to dive into the news first before diving into the charts. First piece is by News BTC. Bitcoin true bull run may yet to begin. Analyst explains why. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of a dive into this news piece here and see what this analyst has to say. Okay. Now, I've been making my bullish arguments to you guys. If you guys been watching me on my channel, you guys know that I am still bullish on crypto. One of the main reasons why is because the Fed rate cut has just started back in last month, right? And it looks like we're going to get a few more rate cuts according to the CME watch tool, okay? And technical wise, I still don't think this bull cycle is over yet. I mean, we've been dancing around 110,000 for past few months now, okay? And that is just not a bear. This is not what a bear market looks like, okay? A bear market does not feel like this. A bear market, if I remember back in the last one I remember was November 2021, which I experienced firsthand, and of course May 2021, which I also experienced firsthand. Um, this is not that, okay? So this is why I have both the macro argument and technical analysis argument that this is still we're still in this bull run here. It's extended. It is boring, but it's gonna come because like all other cycles, all cycles come to an end. Bull cycles, bear cycles, sideways cycles. Let's go ahead and take a look into this news here. Okay, Bitcoin price action has been somewhat impressive in 2025 as the flagship current cryptocurrency ascended from around 93.3 thousand in early January to all-time high to of 126,000. I mean, in my opinion, that's not very it's not very impressive for Bitcoin, actually. I think this year has been full of fake outs and and volatility to both upside and downside. While the digital, but we haven't really seen a straight trend here yet. While the digital assets saw a couple of resets along the way, it continued to put in a new high. Yes, it does, reflecting the magnitude of confidence held by its long-term investors. So let's see here. The recent correction seen in this October seems to be shaking that confidence, raising questions about the sustainability of Bitcoin's bull run. I mean, it's just not really getting to the point quick enough. If you guys want to read more into this news, you guys can. It is in TradingView. If you guys don't have TradingView, you guys need to get TradingView. If you guys want to be trading in the long run, I don't see how else to do it. I've been using it for 5+ years, basically my entire career in trading, right? I do have an affiliate link in the description section below. If you guys sign up using my link, I will get a commission. Let's go ahead and go to the next piece here, which is by Coinpedia. Fundstrats. Tom Lee predicts year-end crypto rally. S&P 500 could still rise up to 10%. Okay. I am really interested in what the reasoning is, rather than just to the point. Okay. So let's see here. A year-end rally. However, despite the recent volatility, Bitcoin and Ethereum have held up. They highlighted that open interest for both Bitcoin and Ethereum at record lows, while technical indicators for both coins are now turning positive, which points to improving market conditions. Technical indicators. I mean, we still have a breakdown target down to 80,000 almost for Bitcoin. So, I mean, I am still bullish on this market, but I would like to know, the reasons, right, for both bulls and bears, and consider them, right? Because I want to be, I just want to make sure that the arguments make sense that are being put out by these analysts, right? I want to make sure my own argument makes sense as well. So it's always good to be open minded of the other side. All right. If you guys want to read more about this, you guys can. It is a longer piece here. Next is by News BTC. It's all one trade. Crypto bull run isn't done, says Dan Moorhead. So this is going to be a longer piece as well. If you guys want to read more into this, it is in TradingView. I don't see any key points I can just read to you guys, but it does echo what I'm believing in. I'm not sure about what their reasons are, but I've been telling you guys my reasons. All right, let's go ahead and go to some comments, okay? Comments here. Gonna be taking a look into. I'll respond to viewer comments here. Anchor Great Mention, it's a sleeping giant for incoming bull run. Yes, I do think a lot of these altcoins are gonna be in for a very good bull run. Okay. So very important to keep an eye out on Bitcoin, because that is still the driver of this crypto market. Now this one says number one, AZA. I'm not really sure what that means. Number one, okay. And then next one, it says win Toshi, win Toshi. Keep the degen coming. Yes, I will. If you guys want to see it, please do thumbs up my degen video. I will bring you guys an update if you guys want to see a certain market. Next one is what about the migration to ELIZA to AI16Z? So I'm not really sure about the migration. I can tell you honestly. I'm just basically telling you guys from a technical analysis perspective and a economic perspective. Okay. If you guys have any other insights like fundamentals about each coin, you guys can share it in the comment section below, because I'll tell you honestly that I'm just really sharing from a technical analysis standpoint and a new standpoint. Anything else I don't really know about? Next one, thank you, of course. And the next one, it says, can you please take a look at hyper pigmentation? So I try to take a look into that coin there. Let me do another look for you. Okay, hyper pigmentation. I see wrapped, right? So there aren't really any main charts for this coin. Let me pick one here. Okay. This one looks like the main one. Okay, so this seems to be the coin that you might be talking about. Okay, let me know in the comment section below if this is the coin that you're talking about. If this is, yeah, I'm gonna give you a quick chart here. Okay, this looks like a falling wedge pattern, right? This is how you draw a falling wedge pattern. You connect 3 candles on a certain time frame for the top trend line. Connect 3 candles on a certain time frame for the bottom trend line. In this case would be the weekly time frame. I don't have exactly 3 candles touching on either side, but I think it's close enough. That is just how I see it. Now, This is a falling wedge pattern, and falling wedge patterns you guys should definitely be paying attention to because they are bullish patterns that has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. Let's just say if it breaks to the upside here by this point, for example, price target would be about 2.6 cents for hyperpigmentation. Okay, let's take a look closer into what this coin could be doing by zooming in. Okay, zooming in, I don't see a specific pattern here. Is this a double bottom pattern that could still be valid? Maybe on a higher time frame here. 6-hour time frame. Is this is still a valid double bottom pattern because we don't have a candle close below these bottoms, right? So this is still a valid double bottom pattern, and double bottom patterns are also bullish patterns that have a higher chance to break to the upside. In this case, if this double bottom pattern breaks to the upside, the price target would be about 1 cent hyperpigmentation, okay? Which is still a pretty decent move, so very important to be paying attention to some of these higher time frames as well as lower time frames, as they can give you more hints on if the higher time frame pattern will play out. So very important to continuously chart your charts. Also got to consider the downside risk as well, because even though these are bullish patterns, they still have a smaller chance of breaking to the downside, okay? We're all just talking about probabilities here. Nothing in this market is for certain. Not the breakout direction, not the price targets. Price targets are also estimate only. There could be more, there could be less. A lot of which does depend on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts dumping from here, these altcoin setups, they're not going to matter very much. Let's go ahead and go to Toshi first. Next, monthly time frame for Toshi. I mentioned this last time, is that there could still be a cup and handle forming for Toshi. Not validated yet, not developed, but this is still a possible scenario, as you still see higher highs and higher lows for, well, a higher low and for Toshi here. Okay, this is the meme coin Toshi, and it's still making higher highs. So where could the higher low come from? That is that's a question that you got to be asking yourself, right? So let's take a look into a smaller time frame and see what Toshi could be doing here. Weekly time frame, I don't see a particular pattern, but I did mention a falling wedge pattern here last time with the price target of about 0.00087. That basically, Toshi basically obliterated that target, went all the way up to about 0.00115. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. That price targets could be broken beyond, right? So that's what happened, and of course this huge wick there, it still ended up in a green candle for that crash from 2 weeks ago. That's pretty impressive. Let's take a look into a smaller time frame here, see what Toshi could be doing. So this is a hourly time frame. Okay, you have quite a bit of resistance above Toshi right now, including your 4-hour 200 SMA, which I just showed you. Very important for Toshi to break out of this upward trend line, because why? Because if you don't, then this could form some type of a falling wedge pattern, and this could consolidate further. Okay, not a complete falling wedge pattern yet, but this is just my guess on what it could happen if it doesn't break this upward trend line on this hourly time frame. Let's take a look into ApeCoin and see what's happening with ApeCoin. Weekly time frame for ApeCoin. This is a falling wedge pattern, and falling wedges are bullish patterns that have a higher chance of breaking to the upside. If it breaks to the upside for by this point, for example, price target would be about still $3.70 price target. That crash we had last week did not take ApeCoin out of this pattern because it was just a candle wick, right? It did not close below the falling wedge pattern, so it did not invalidate it. It was a fake out for the bears, basically, and the bulls bought it right back up into this pattern, so this pattern is still valid. I don't see a particular pattern on a smaller time frame here, it is trying to get above the 4-hour 200 SMA as resistance. That's about 48 cents. Okay, the orange line here. Let's go ahead and take a look into Giggle Fund, which is Giggle USDT, which had a huge pump today. Let's see what's happening with this coin, which is relatively new. It just came into the market about September, okay, and it has been crazy. Okay, it has been crazy. It is also a bigger market cap coin, right? Let's take a look into a smaller time frame here, daily time frame, where you could potentially see some pullback here because this daily candle here is likely to end up with bearish divergence as you see a higher high on the price action chart comparing with this high, but there is a very, very, very likely lower or equal high on the RSI, and we have about 6 more hours left on this daily candle. So bearish divergence or divergence in general, you got to be paying attention to because they usually tell you that there is going to be a pullback coming. Okay, of course, it's there's going to be times when it invalidates the pullback with a smaller chance, but it usually tells you that there's going to be a pullback coming. So very important to be paying attention to divergence. Let's take a look into a smaller time frame. This is let's go to the hourly time frame here. Hourly time frame. So we see a falling wedge pattern. Okay, probably more validated on a even lower time frame, 15-minute time frame. There's not that much data here after this breakout, so gotta go to the smaller time frame for more data. 15-minute time frame. This is a validated falling wedge pattern. We don't have exactly 3 candles touching on the bottom trend line, but it is close enough in my opinion. Falling wedge pattern here. So if this thing breaks to the upside by this point, for example, price target would be about $340, almost. Okay. Of course, also got to mind the downside risk as well because I've seen falling wedges break down. So and also have to mind of course the daily time frame bearish divergence as well, right? Because don't only just pay attention to one time frame. The higher time frames are also very important. Okay, so it's very important to scan across time frames and put the picture together so you're making a much more informed decision about the possible risk. Okay, so this is basically what I'm seeing for Giggle Fund on a smaller time frame up to the higher time frame. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of hyperpigmentation, Giggle Fund, Ape, Toshi, by dropping a like, comment, subscribe, or any other coins in this market. I'll pick a request to you for you guys on a daily basis, and I'll see you on the next one.